Alrighty, hello. It's 1 o'clock and that's the official start time of my panel, so hi, how's it going? I'm Zoomie, or Zoomizoomi, and I am here to give you my lovely little panel and open the day with tips and tricks of fanfic, or tips and tricks of FF14 fanfic, how to write your Warrior of Light and FF14 fanfic in general, but to be honest, it's kind of general advice on how to write really anything, fanfiction especially. But yeah, that's what I'm here to do. I hope you guys are excited. I certainly am. And yeah, I'm just gonna get started because I only have an hour to get through all of this information, and it's a lot. So first of all, for an overview, we'll be starting right away with our presentation here. As you can tell, this will be a front half of a presentation, back half of a Q&A. So basically the first 30 minutes are gonna be dedicated to me rambling incoherently at you, and then the last back half of it is gonna be me basically just asking for questions, seeing if people have anything to ask or any, I don't know, situations they want to run by me or something like that. I feel like this panel benefits a lot from just having people ask questions towards the end of it. If I'm completely wrong, we might stare at each other in awkward silence for 30 minutes. Other than that, I do have a couple other things we could talk about in the end. This panel is mostly about tips and tricks for new and experienced writers, so if you don't really know what you're doing, well, don't worry, I got your back. And if you absolutely know what you're doing, hopefully we can chat a little bit and I can perhaps give you a perspective that you haven't thought about before that will be useful to you. I'm mostly talking about from an AO3 perspective or an archive of our own perspective. There's a lot of fanfiction websites out there. You know, there's like fanfiction.net. I'm pretty sure some people still use DeviantArt. AO3 is very popular though, and that's the one I personally have the most experience with. So that's kind of how I'll be talking. Also, minor Endwalker spoilers ahead. Nothing major, I won't be talking about any kind of plot points, but there's a couple images I have that may be considered a bit spoilery. As you can tell, I have my lovely assistant, my very own Warrior of Light, Eris, who's going to be accompanying me throughout all of these slides, and she's there to give you something pretty to look at. And because this panel really is just a smokescreen for me to actually talk about my Warrior of Light constantly, I'm kidding, of course, but she will be there a lot, so there might be some images or pictures that could be spoilery, since some of them are taken from Endwalker. But without ado, we should probably talk about my qualifications, because why listen to me? Why would you listen to me? I'm just some weird pink-haired lady you just met on the internet. Why would you listen to me normally? That doesn't make any sense. Well, let me tell you. I'm a Twitch partner, and I love buff women. That's enough qualifications right there. But yes, I love buff women. I really do. I love femros. And I also am a Twitch partner. I've been making content for a very long time. I've been doing content for years, and I primarily do a lot of Final Fantasy stuff. I play and stream a lot of FF14. I've been on my own quest to get through the entire Final Fantasy series. And I also play a lot of like narrative-driven games, a lot of RPGs, stuff like that, etc., etc. I am also the best black mage on Crystal. That is mostly because nobody has challenged me for the title yet, so I'm claiming that as well as a qualification. I've also been writing fanfic and the like since I was about 12. I mean, it was early. I was that kid in like English class that had like a little notebook and would like write stuff in and think about things that I'd seen or watched recently and just kind of compile all that together. So I've been doing this for a very long time. And I also have a degree in this, not fan fiction. I don't have a degree in fan fiction. That's not a thing you can do, I think. But I do have a media degree. And I, went into debt for that, worked very hard at it. And I like to think I can analyze media and analyze stories very, very well. And that comes in handy a lot when it comes to writing things and creating things. So it gives me a little bit of an academic perspective, which is nice. I also have 2 AO3 accounts that I've had for a while. I have one public AO3 account and one that is not public. The public one I made about a year ago so that people could start reading my writing in connection to like my stream and stuff. The other one is, But other than that, I mostly write FF14 fanfic. I also do a lot with League of Legends. Arcane got me by the throat. The Nier series. I also write about D&D, and I'm an avid D&D player, and I write a lot about characters and such in there as well. That's also how I get a lot of my writing juice out, as well as through tabletop games. And As for my Warrior of Light, as I mentioned earlier, that is Eris on the side there. She's a big old pyromaniac. I love her. I will be using her for a couple of examples, going through with my like little panel here, just because it's probably good to have some examples. And like I said, this panel is just an excuse to talk about her. But moving on, I do have quite a few things to talk about. I've got sort of 5 tips that I can break down into points here for y'all. And the first one here is that there's no right or wrong way to go about fanfic, as Hildebrand's loving and kind smile would assure you. Honestly, fanfiction is something that is a hobby that you should love and that you should enjoy doing, if that is a thing that you like, right? It's like any kind of hobby. I mean, it's writing, right? Any kind of writing is something that you should enjoy and something that you should like a lot. It's supposed to be fun, and if it stops being fun, then that is a problem. Oops. Sorry about that. I forgot about my alerts. Ooh, okay. Anyway, but like, essentially, it's something that you should enjoy, something that you should love, something that is supposed to be fun, and if it's no longer fun for you, then why do it? Basic grammar rules apply, and there are, you know, certain rules, air quotes, about the fan fiction. But remember that fun is always the #1 priority. You should always be looking to have fun. You should always be trying your best to have fun. You are going to hear me repeat this a lot through the entire panel. I can promise you that. I'm going to sound like a broken record by the end of it, but I think it's the most important aspect of what I'm doing here, just because I think a lot of people lose sight that hobbies and these sorts of crafts are supposed to be enjoyable. And especially with fan fiction, it kind of gets a really bad rap. Like a really bad rap that it's like cringy or weird or wrong or like perverted. And that's like, none of that's true. Just enjoy what you like, do what you like. Life is short to not enjoy yourself in it, right? And again, re-emphasizing the point, seriously, have fun. I cannot emphasize that enough. Writing is an art, and you want to write what you read, but you also want to enjoy what you're writing. You've probably heard similar advice like that before, but it really is an art that you have to work at and practice and get better over time with. It's just something that's, you know, that will take time and patience, so you need to enjoy yourself as you do it. There's a lot of fear that exists in sort of the general social media or online hemisphere that what you're going to do is never going to be good enough, and I'm here to tell you that it is good enough. I mean it. It is. Your voice, your perspective, what you have to say is good enough. Promise. Promise. It's really important. There's also other important aspects of that too. While the point is to have fun, remember to tag stuff appropriately. AO3's got a pretty sophisticated tagging system. Please use it. Most websites do. You want to prep readers' expectations appropriately. Like, you want to prep expectations appropriately. And honestly, you know, you don't want to go in there and throw out stuff that's not unexpected in like a bad way. Like, if you're going to talk about serious topics, and you certainly can and maybe even should, you want to treat those topics with respect, and you want to make sure those tags are out there, viewable. You want your summary to be accurate. You want your sort of discussion or notes to be accurate, to describe things appropriately. If you don't do that, then, you know, you're kind of doing a disservice to your writers, or your readers, my bad. Treating serious topics with respect is extremely important too. I know I've written about a lot of stuff that is, you know, not stuff to be taken lightly. It can be very cathartic to work through things that are maybe very intense or serious, traumatic even. And it can be very cathartic, like, you know, if you're painting a vent piece or something like that. Writing is the same way, but just make sure you don't make light of those topics in a way that is inappropriate. Expectations exist, and setting those expectations appropriately for your readers is very important and helps them have fun and helps you have fun, and everybody has fun. And that's great, right? On to the next part. Tip 2, consume media. You have to literally eat any kind of media you can find. That's not what I mean. What it means is, basically, you need to actually get out there and play video games, read books, watch movies, stuff like that. Understanding and consuming general different genres of media, different types of media, is extremely helpful to you becoming a better writer. Reading helps a lot. You've probably heard that the best writers are good readers or something like that. And that's true, but it's not just reading that can help you. I don't think anyone's going to argue that a game like BioShock is not some kind of narrative masterpiece. Playing a game like that can also be very good for you. Understanding and looking at other pieces of media can be very helpful to you as a writer. It can give you inspiration, it's fun, and just understanding different types of things is just very important. I mean, whether it's just narratives or like sort of plot devices, character types, tropes, good and bad tropes, things like that, it's very important to get an understanding of that and diversify your experience. Consuming any kind of media is important, like I said, narrative techniques, blah, blah, blah. Genres is very important, and this is something I want to talk about a lot too. It's okay to have genres that you enjoy, and you should enjoy genres. Whether you like romance or horror, etc., all sorts of stuff like that. But it's also important to branch out too. Find the stuff that you like, explore that thoroughly, but every once in a while, try to find something from a different genre or a different media type that maybe you're not as familiar with, because that can help diversify your writing and help you better understand and add new things to your writing. I know there's been books I've read that have been maybe not my typical thing. I'm a big fan of romance, and occasionally I do dip into like mystery and stuff like that. I'm not a big fan of mystery, but every once in a while I will find a mystery book I really like, and it gives me an idea for a character, a fic idea, something to put into a D&D campaign, you know, something like that. And it just gives me little ideas because I'm not used to a lot of the same tropes and things that you would maybe see in a mystery book versus, say, a romance book, or a game, or a movie, etc. Thank you, I like my hair too. But moving on to our third tip. Practice, practice, practice. Here's this tip. You've probably heard this one before. I think everyone has. Anyone that's ever practiced something ever has heard of this before. Writing is an art. It requires practice like any art. Your first draft will not be amazing. That's okay. Neither will your second draft, or your third, maybe even your fourth. That's okay. Revising is very important. Taking time out of your day to work on your craft, work on your writing is extremely important to progress and to get better. Otherwise, it's not really gonna happen. You're not gonna get better by, well, not writing. That works for a multitude of things, like I said, with art or with any kind of digital kind of coding or like modeling, things like that. You just gotta practice at it, get better at it. In addition to spending time actually writing helps a lot. 5 minutes spent writing is better than no minutes. Even if you can only write like a sentence.
Sloppy.
Even a sentence, no, stop that. Even if you can only write like a sentence, that's really important too. Just getting something out there, super great. There's some writing advice that was given that was very popular in a lot of places a while ago. It's like, to be a good writer, you have to write like 1,000 words a day at least. That is completely false, completely not true. Most professional authors don't even do that. Most professional writers are not writing at that like kind of quantity every single day. That consistency is not something that works at all. Revision's a huge aspect of writing, and putting words on paper is very important, but you need to take time to just work on your craft too, and that involves a lot of revision, research, just looking at stuff, reading, things like that. That's not just puking words onto the paper. It's important to put stuff on the paper, yes, but not so much so that you never need to go like, you never need to like put out some quantifiable number to your words, right? And this is also an important tip too. Doing your best looks different every day. I cannot emphasize that absolutely enough. Your best looks different every day. Some days will be 100 words. Some days will be 1,000. Some days maybe 3,000. And some days maybe 1, and that's okay. Doing something is better than nothing. And your best looks different every day. It does. And that's okay. You don't need your best to be some kind of monstrously fast pace that you're pumping out words and knowledge and ideas like crazy. It's okay. Certain days will look different, and that's fine. Make sure you take time for yourself. Oop. There we go. Practice is how you get better. Remember that. It's okay to have 17 different drafts in your folder. It's okay to have whips piling up over and over and over, but finishing 1 out of 17 is great. Having 17 laying around is completely a-okay, and that is certainly fine. Where do you think I got that 17 number from? Don't look at my drafts folder. But no, it's okay to have a bunch of stuff lying around and stuff that even you may not ever finish. That's okay. If you're writing a piece and you're like, I don't like this anymore, that's fine. You don't have to continue. You don't have to keep writing it. If it becomes less enjoyable for you, you can just leave it there and come back to it later. And that's completely okay. You don't have to have this like goal that you have to finish everything, that every work in progress that you've abandoned is some kind of failure, right? You don't have to do that. That's kind of unrealistic. A lot of professional authors have a lot of unfinished pieces. Trust me, so many do. And so many fan fiction authors do, so many hobbyist writers do. There's so much stuff that's just chilling in some folder, forgotten or not forgotten about, that maybe you'll even come back to later. Maybe you'll cannibalize a piece and add to another piece later that is maybe a character that you wrote one time. You're like, oh man, I want to use that guy again. So don't worry about finishing everything. It's okay. Writing's a process and it takes time to get to it. It's a process and it takes time to actually just move yourself through that process, whether it's revision, whether it's writing, whether it's choosing what you actually want to write. Completely okay. Completely okay. And our fourth tip here, to OC or to not OC. Now this is me getting into a bit more specific advice for FF14. The first 3 tips are kind of like your general writing advice, right? These are going to be a bit more specific to writing your Warrior of Light, as well as talk about original characters, etc., and canon characters, things like that. So just keep that in mind as we go through with this. As you can see, I'm changing this topic eloquently because I have, I've got Alphino here and Red Alphino to talk about and transition to this topic. A lot of FF14 fanfic centers around people's Warriors of Light. That is a general trend, but that is not by any means what you have to do. A lot of canon characters exist, and a lot of canon characters are used heavily in people's writing. You can see that in ships, but even just like non-ship fics, there's a lot of ship fics in the FF14 community too, but that's okay. Doesn't have to be that way. I wanted to talk about this stuff because I wanted to talk about how a lot of people present themselves in fanfic in FF14. There's a lot of it. So let me get to it here. Some of you might go, wait, what's an OC? What does that mean? Well, if you don't know what an OC is, it's an original character. An original character is a character that you yourself has come up and made yourself. Original character, donut steal. And that's something that is unique to you, that you have, and most people's Warriors of Light are OCs. Honest to God, I think they all are, unless people are specifically making like a reference to like a canon character or something, right? But most people have their little Warrior of Light, and they make all these little headcanons and ideas and writing for them because they like them, and they're like, you know, maybe playing through a quest, and they're like, how would my Lalafell react to this? How would they speak? How would they know things, right? Like, how would they react to, their best friend dying in a cutscene? Or how would they react to some sexy Asian declaring their love for them in some weird way, but then you have to fight him, and you know how it is. It gets people thinking, particularly in the reference of FF14, because generally speaking, FF14 is such a narratively driven game that focuses so much on our Warrior of Light. You've got a lot of time to think about it. They put us in the shoes of this character a lot, and you might start noticing some similarities between you and your character, because that's how it usually starts. And as you can tell right here, I have my lovely Lady Eris here, and this is a friend's character that I'm using here as an example too. They're also a ship. It's cute. But a lot of people do that, and again, that's okay. Have fun with it. Just enjoy yourself. But a lot of people also will write their fanfics and the Warriors of Light around various like alternate universes or AUs. They might have, I know I have like a canon one that's like canon in the confines of the game, and then I've got like my AU one of like my friends' player characters and like our Warrior of Lights, and I've got like a whole little thing for them. And it's nice to divide things up a little bit. Not everybody does that, but it's an option that you can certainly include. And also, another important thing to remember as well, OCs do not have to be Warriors of Light. I know a couple people who canon their characters as not Warriors of Light, and that's completely okay. You can be like a Scion or some other random adventurer, or I don't know, maybe an Ascian. I've seen a lot of stuff, a lot of cool ideas too. That's one of the beautiful things about OCs and about FF14 fanfic in particular, is I think it gives us a lot of space for very rich, in-depth, and diverse OCs, which is super cool, because who doesn't like to see that, right? Who doesn't like to see just this huge breadth of different types of characters? I'm sure there might be some similarities between your Warrior of Light and another Warrior of Light, but honestly, I'm willing to bet you cash money that none of them are exactly the same, because they're so different, they're so unique, and FF14 does such a good job of letting us and giving us the space to make our characters anything we want. So in that type of space, people will just go crazy, and that's awesome. That's the best part of it, dude. That's fantastic. And remember, just enjoy yourself at the end of this. Feel free to experiment. Feel free to have fun. Make your AUs, make your headcanons, make that weird Loperette headcanon that you've had rolling around in your head for a while. Why not? Do it. Have fun with it. Again, tag things appropriately, use grammar so people can understand you, etc. Do all sort of that stuff. It's honestly fine. Enjoy yourself. It's important. Now let's talk about ships, because oh boy. I told you one of my favorite genres is romance, and well, as you can perhaps tell from the two images here, there's a lot of shipping within the FF14 community, and I am I'm drowning. It's great. But basically, you can't really talk about FF14 fanfic or canon characters or OCs without talking about some good ships. Yeah. Whew, okay, gotta calm myself down. All right, anyways, so FF14 fanfic focuses on canon characters a lot, focuses on OC characters a lot, but what happens when you put the two of them together and make them smooch? Well, I might tell you, you get ships. And ships are lovely. If you don't know what a ship is sort of when you take two characters, make them kiss, and they set sail on a wonderful romance together, or maybe it's terrible. That can be fun too. So, enjoy yourselves. Basically, when shipping canon characters, everyone does it. FF14 is probably one of the kindest and nicest and most generous communities when it comes to just letting you ship yourself with canon characters. There's a lot of communities that are like, no, don't do that, that's bad. And like FF14 is like, woo! I love a cat boy! And who doesn't love Graha, honestly? He's great, honestly. But there's so many ways that you can like have that and work with that, and it's really great, and there's a lot of diversity within that as well. A lot of people's dynamics can be different for characters. I can tell you, as you could probably tell from the two pictures I hear, two of my biggest ships with Eris are Emmett and Graha. We've got the unhealthy one, and we've got the healthy one. And also, I've shipped Eris with a variety of characters, and I've shipped myself with characters that you may scorn me for, but, you know, a lot of people ship themselves with Emmett, but, like, listen, I do love a juicy boy, too. Love me some toxic ships. But, anyway, I also, you know, work on a lot of fics that are not necessarily ship-based, and that's fine, too. While a lot of FF14 fanfic is fixed on canon characters, and shipping, it doesn't have to be. So you don't have to ship with canon characters. You can ship with other OCs. That's good. I do that too. And you can ship in a way that's not necessarily romance or not necessarily flirtatious in that way. It could just be platonic. There's a lot of platonic ships too. Again, have fun with it. Do what you like within reason. There's certain areas that you should maybe consider very heavily whether you want to go into them or not. you know, things like that. I think you guys all have good reasoning behind it. Make sure you tag things appropriately. Make sure you do things appropriately. Prep expectations, etc., etc. There's a lot of good platonic ships. There's a lot of good romance ships. There's a lot of good combinations thereof in between. All that good stuff. But moving on, we've got one last tip for you. Your Warrior of Light and you. And this is specific to sort of more specific Warrior of Light or OC advice. Everyone has a Warrior of Light or 5. Each Warrior of Light is different and interesting, and that's the best part about this. I said that before a little bit, but we have such a good space and kind of area to diversify and make different types of characters, and that's something that you should definitely delve into and have fun with. Each Warrior of Light is different and interesting. Go for it, experiment with it. It's okay if it doesn't go well. It's okay if you mess up. It's okay if, like, you don't have fun at first. Try something new. Try something different. Try a different Warrior of Light. Why not? Fantasia. Trans your gender. It's fine. Do whatever you want to do. Live your life. It's completely okay. But remember, there are some guidelines that can help. I got some advice for that. Make sure that you appropriately explain your Warrior of Light. This kind of goes back to previous tips about tagging stuff. But you're going to really want to actually delve into and get down certain details of your Warrior of Light so they make sense. For example, if Eris, my girl Eris here, suddenly gets possessed by a void demon in a fic, you might go, hey, Zoomi, what does that mean? What does that mean? And I'd go, oh, well, she's a black mage, you see. Because she is. That's her canon job. Best black mage on Crystal, remember? She's a black mage, and she deals with demons a lot. She deals with void sin a lot, because that's something black mages do. And I feel like the writers forget that sometimes, but whatever. I haven't. So that's something that she deals with a lot. So if I appropriately explain that in the summary, in the notes before, or within the fic itself, then people understand and know what it's about. And that's lovely. Or my other Warrior of Light I've got down here, her name is Pinklocks Fast Talks. You may have guessed from her name, but she is a goblin. Well, not actually. She's a Lalafell that was raised by goblins. You might be able to infer that from her name, but I should probably tell you that in the fic, or the tags, or the summary, or somewhere, because if I don't, then you're gonna be like, why does she talk like a goblin? I'm confused. Yeah, her name is Pinklocks Fast Talks. She's actually the character that I'm going back through, like, ARR with, and trying to, like, re-experience the story with. She's adorable. Love her. Sorry, I'm off topic. Back to the panel. Importantly, too, who, what, when, where, why. You have heard this writing advice before, I guarantee you, but God, it is a frickin' golden standard of writing advice. Try not to swear. It is a golden standard of writing advice. Who, what, when, where, why. Who is your Warrior of Light? What are they? When are they? Where are they? Why are they? Philosophical, but it's very important to ground your fic in some way where people can understand it. Obviously, having mysteries, having twists are cool. They're fun. We love that stuff. But seriously, people need to actually understand what's happening. You can experiment and have some like confusing or mystery stuff, but even good mysteries ground themselves in some ways, right? You might be understanding, hey, who's the killer? But you know when the killer struck, or what they struck with, or where they struck with, right? Maybe you don't know why, but you know some of the others, right? Very important. Make sure every reader has the info that they need. Please do not assume information. Don't, like, unless you're writing a piece that's multi-chapters or part of a larger collection, don't assume references in those previous fics will get across otherwise. Again, unless it's a previous chapter, unless it's a collection, then you can assume that. But normally, don't assume that. Otherwise, people are gonna be confused. They're gonna be sad. You know, just establish those things pretty quickly. I've also prepared some prompts for you here. These are my good old Warrior of Light prompts that I've prepared. These are, again, just general pieces to think about for your character. Things like, what jobs or job are they? Are they a black mage? Are they a samurai? Are they both? Are they a dark knight? Are they all three? Like, how many jobs do they have? How do they fight? What do they do? Etc., etc. That's something that can give your character a good, solid, grounded identity that everyone can understand very quickly, because we all know what the jobs are. Do they have a career? How do they make money? Do the Scions just give them, like, an allowance every month? Does Tataru just go up and go, okay, here's your Warrior of Light allowance? You know, how does that work? Are they a crafter? Are they a gatherer? Do they, I don't know, you know, dance for fun? I don't know. Like, how do they make their money? How do they do their things? How do they exist, right? Who's their best friend? Are they Thancred? Are they a different canon character? Are they Thancred? Or are they maybe like an OC that you have? Or are they Thancred? Your choice. Decide who your best friend is. But having a character that your Warrior of Light can go to or have sort of that grounding in friendships is important. Having a variety of friendships is important, like being friends with Thancred, that's a good idea, but they're probably friends with other canon characters too, like Alphino or Red Alphino or Thancred or maybe Estinian or Thancred's husband. There's a lot of characters that they could, be friends with, right? Who do they love? Who do they hate? These are important ones. Who do they love? Who do they hate? Do they love and hate the same person? Ooh, Xenos. But yeah, basically, who are the people that they love, that they adore, would do anything for, and who are the opposite of that? Who do they hate? Who do they not like, etc. What are their dreams? What are their fears? These are a good pair too. Do they dream of like adventure? Do they dream of just retiring, having fun, maybe having a nice little farm on an island? Do they dream of Thancred? Do they dream of their lovers? Do they dream of other people? Are they afraid of losing those people? Are they afraid of being an adventurer? Are they afraid of, dying? Are they afraid of spiders? Are they afraid of not being good enough? Are they afraid of the soul-crushing existential dread of reality? What are they afraid of? What do they dream of? These two, in my opinion, are some of the best and most important pieces that you can nail down for a character. Dreams and fears, or hopes and fears, as it's sometimes called too. Super important to ground and to understand your character at a philosophical and mental level. Extremely important. You absolutely, it will absolutely help you understand your character better when you know what they want and what they don't want, right? Simple like that. What's their greatest accomplishment? Is it fighting at the edge of the universe and battling the literal incarnation of despair and nihilism? Or is it just handing out cookies to some orphan kids that just needed a little bit of comfort in their day? Or maybe it's being a parent, or maybe it's just being a kind-hearted adventurer that makes people feel safe and makes people feel like they're wanted and that they belong here. Up to you. How do they identify? Are they a man? Are they a woman? Are they none of the above? Are they all of the above? Are they gay? Are they straight? Are they bisexual? What are they? Are they a Rhodian? Are they a goblin? Are they a femro? I already said Rhodian, but femros are great. Are they a cat girl? Are they a cat boy? Etc. How do they identify? What do they look like? What are their physical characteristics? Are they Thancred? That's important too. Decide whether your character is Thancred or not. What was their lowest point? What was their highest point? Highs and lows is also very important. When you can identify what a character is and what they consider to be a high and a low point, you can ground them very well too. Was Shadowbringers a low point for them? Was it a high point? Was Endwalker a low point? Was it a high point? How do they go through things and how do they manage that in a way that that makes sense for them? And decide on that. That's important. But alas, we are here at our lovely little review. So remember, tip 1, have fun, enjoy yourselves. Seriously, if you're not having fun, what's the point of what you're doing? Life is too short to have a bad time. Enjoy yourself. 2, enjoy your favorite stories. Look at other stories, look at other pieces of media, go to them, read them, watch them, play them, enjoy them, have fun with them. You need those pieces of media so that you can understand and enjoy them so that you can better yourself as a writer and better your perspectives on writing. Practice. Gotta practice. That one's so simple, but you really do. You just gotta work at it. Again, your best looks different every day, and any words are better than no words. Any drawings are better than no drawings. Any lines, any craft that you work on, any skill or art that you work on, you gotta take time to actually practice it, work on it. Best looks different every day. It's okay. Anything's better than nothing. OCs are fun, but they are not mandatory. You're allowed to have them. You're allowed not to have them. You're allowed to do anything you want with them. Again, within relative reason, that's very important. That you don't go off the wall with certain things, as I've said previously. And 5, explain your Warrior of Light well and with purpose. Explain them in a way where people can understand and follow them. And be able to capture sort of what your perspective of them or what you're trying to convey with them. So yeah, that's the good stuff. Remember, fanfic is fun. Enjoy yourself. This is all for fun. Don't worry about being cringy. Don't. You've probably heard the advice, kill the part of you that cringes. And while that might be a bit cliche, that's important. Love yourself. Seriously. Life is too short. Life is too short to do so otherwise. If you can help it, it's best to just take that first step and to go for it, do what you love, work on what you love, have a good time. And remember, like with fan art, write whatever makes you smile, because a smile better suits a hero. And that's my panel, or at least the first part of the presentation. I hope you've enjoyed it so far. I do have my shameless plug page here as well. Where do you find a Zoomy? The first place you can find me is within your walls. I am there. But the second place you can find me is on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, and AO3 as well. And you can see those are my handles right there, respectively. You can tell I'm trying to get the 97 out of my name. I'm trying so hard. It is so hard. It is so hard to do that. It's very frustrating. But yeah, that's Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, AO3. Feel free to follow me. Like I said, I'm a Twitch partner. I stream regularly. I upload my VODs regularly. I do write fairly regularly. Who just knocked on the wall? Where were you? Hello. But yeah, those are places where you can find me. If you need me to go back to the slide, I certainly can. I'd love to see you guys though. If you guys have any writing advice, feel free to stop and stream sometime or at me on Twitter. I don't mind at all. If you want me to read something, oh my god, please. I'd love to read something. You can tag me in it. You can, you know, maybe put it in the Discord. Putting it on stream would be hard because chat moves pretty quickly. But you know what I mean. I would love to read stuff. I really genuinely enjoy fanfic. I really, really do. But do you have any questions? Can I read something of yours on my channel? Ooh, yes, with certain permissions. Some of the stuff I've written is not TOS safe. Most of that stuff's on the other AO3 profile. But yeah, we got the questions page now. The rest of the panel dedicated to that. If you got questions, let me know. Do I have a favorite author? Yes, I do. My favorite author is, I would say, it might be a bit cliche. I really genuinely enjoy Mary Shelley. I really like her a lot. I think she's very, very, very good. And I mean, maybe that's just because of the goth vibes or something like that. But I just think she's a classic. Jane Austen's really good too. I like Austen a lot. I am a fan of. I'm a pretty big fan of what? Are you a planner? Or, Any fanfic recommendations? Oh, I got so many. But yeah, no, I like a lot of authors quite a bit. It's kind of hard to pick sometimes though, especially out of modern authors. I find myself really stuck on a lot of modern authors. Some of them I like less than others, but there's a lot to pick from. But yeah, sorry. Do you have anything to help organize your thoughts like Obsidian? No, I have a lot of Google Sheets. I have a lot of folders, and I am a habitual note taker. So I've got a lot of folders on Google Drive that I separate, color code, things like that. I do not use Obsidian. I've heard Obsidian is very good, but I cannot speak to it personally. What do you think about why no fix to use FF14 as everyone has their own ship and wool? Would you recommend writing these? I would say, honestly, again, as long as you do things appropriately, I think it could potentially work. This is kind of specific advice that I kind of talked about a little bit with trying to go about things appropriately and trying to go about things in a way that works very, very well. It's kind of up to you. I don't do a lot of that myself at all, but I've seen some things that people have pulled off that are pretty okay. So if you want to try it, go for it, but just be careful, I would say. If that makes sense. I don't want to take a super hard stance on that, if that makes sense. Good lord. I refer myself and a small circle of friends. Should I still follow the introduce your warrior of light well rule? That could be an exception if you know the exact people that you are dedicating your writing to. That is a good idea, I think, to if you know like your audience extremely well, and I guess you don't have to worry about that as much, I would still explain certain things, maybe just as a refresher or a reminder, because that can be helpful to people. What's my favorite trope? Oh, ooh, enemies to lovers. Easy, easy. Enemies to lovers, baby. Oh man, either that or found family. But oh man, whew, enemies to lovers. I am a Xenos shipper. I am an Emmett shipper, so yeah. Right. Easy, but found family is very good too. I love found family. Scion found family. Ooh. But yeah, sorry, if I don't get to all your questions, feel free to repeat them. Chat moves quickly. How do you deal with writer's block, especially writer's block that's been there a long time? I find breaking writer's block is very hard. I can tell you, I used to write an absolute boatload of content back in college when I had a job where I could just sit down and write, and then like I was kind of like a secretary. I just wrote fanfic at work. It was great. So I wrote a ton in college, and then the pandemic hit. I got very sad. I got so sad, so I basically stopped writing. But I've really started to pick it back up within the last year, hence my new AO3 profile. It does not have nearly as much fanfics on it that I would like. Also, hi Gerald, how are you? Does not nearly have as much on it that I would like, but I'm getting there. I've got some stuff in the chute. I know there's a fic I'm gonna be probably finishing in August. I'm trying to release one a month, like one good fic a month, and I've set that kind of standard for myself. That may not be realistic for everyone, but that's something that I've been trying to work on a fic a month. And I've also considered doing some like, doing some raffles stuff in connection to my stream of like, kind of hosting like a raffle where I write a fanfic for free for somebody if they just win like a raffle. And like just like a win a raffle, and that would give me a lot of inspiration for myself. I know that. But just trying to set any kind of goal for yourself, I think is super useful. Yeah, if you guys are interested in that raffle thing, again, follow me on Twitch, like join the community and stuff. Like I have been really thinking about doing that. I might do one for August. Cause that, I know that will give me sort of the deadline I need for me to like produce something, which I enjoy. Am I working, do you have an original book that you're making? Yes, I do actually. I also, spoiler alert, I do have a piece of writing that is going to appear in a publication. Can't tell you specifically about that much, but I do have a piece of writing that is going to be in a publication, which is pretty cool. Do you want to write a book and get it published? Yes. Or do you have one or in the works out there? I'm working on it. Takes time though. You know, I've definitely felt the pressure of, I'm in my early 20s, right? As you guys can probably tell. I'm a certified Zoomer. And I felt the bone-crushing reality, feel the bone-crushing reality of life on me that I'm only in my 20s and I haven't accomplished everything yet. I'm supposed to be an omnipotent god at this age. That's completely unrealistic. I've been able to slow down, take some time for myself, work on my writing, and I know that I will publish a book one day. I will do it, I promise that. It doesn't matter if I do it in my 20s or in my 30s or in my 40s, but I will do it one day. I promise you that. I'm determined, and it's gonna happen. Trust me. But it's one of those things that I've had to like kind of work on a little bit. Because I've really felt that pressure bearing down on me. So, yeah. I also have another question. Do you find having profile documents with basic info about the Word of Light helpful? Yes, outlines are good. Outlines for fics are good. Outlines for yourself are good. For general information, good stuff. Question, how do you pace yourself in writing stories so you don't want to rush the scene that you're currently writing and get to the scene that you want to write? My bit that I always do is I always get all my words out on a page. I try to write through stuff. If I rush it, that's okay. That's what revision is for. I can go back. I can go back and get and rework my thoughts and trim things down, expand upon them. I can do those things, and that's what revision is for, in my opinion. It's important to me to get my words on the paper, get my ideas on the paper. Very important. Opinions of converting RPs into fanfics? Do it. Do it. Do it. That's where all my D&D fanfics go. That's absolutely where it goes. You ever deal with perfectionism or holding you back or fear? Yes. Oh god, yes. Oh my god, yes. Perfectionism and fear of like doing poorly. Oh god, it's terrible. But with that, you know, the advice on that one is like, you just kind of have to go for it, you know? Like again, a word a day is better than nothing. A single word a day is better than nothing. Who knows? Maybe you'll get to 5 words a day or 10 words a day. You can work up to it. And that's okay. Starting small is okay. That's okay. Do I have a favorite quote? Yes. This is going to expose me a little bit, but one of my favorite quotes, unironically, is... let's see, how does he say it? I think it's... It's okay. It's all right. You have to continue. You have to live on. You will. Graha Tia's quote to that one guy in Endwalker, in the scene in Fafnir. I think I misquoted that a little bit. That is literally one of my favorite quotes. I am not kidding. I am not. That man regularly squeezes my heart. Squeezes my heart like a chew toy. Oh man, oh my god, I love it. It's such a good quote. It is so good. You have to go on. You must. You have to. You will. Like, just speaks to me personally. Just saying. Do you write more wool-centric fic or canon characters fics? Do you prefer one or the other? I write wool-centric fic myself. I love my Warrior of Light. I love Eris. One of the reasons I write so much of Eris content is because there are no women in FF14, and it frustrates me immensely. That's an exaggeration, obviously, but I like writing women. I like writing women characters. As a woman, I like doing that. Surprise. Yep, so, yeah, 90% of the women in the game are dead or in the background. Y'shtola would like a crumb of character development. That would be cool. But you know what I mean? Like, I like writing Eris as a result. I like having her be my main character because I think the Warrior of Light's a cool character. I think she's a cool character. Oh my god, Yuguri, don't even get me started. Eris to me is important. I think she's good, and having a woman in a fic is nice sometimes. I don't write a lot of WLW fic, even though I am WLW. Oh, I'm bisexual, I'm sapphic, right? I don't write a ton of it because there is so little inspiration for it. It's a little rough. But Eris has a couple ladyships that I have. Most of them are with men though, because like I said, I'm bisexual. I like men too. So that's kind of what happens. Y'shtola deserves a background. God, doesn't she? Do I have a pet, and can we see them if I do? I do not have a pet, I'm sorry. I used to have a cat. Used to live with a couple of cats, but I don't anymore, and I want one really badly. One day. One day. Does Eris have a canon pet? Yes, she does. She has the Major General, my favorite little minion. She found him. The story behind that is she found him fishing. He was on her line, and then she like let him off the line, set him down, and he stayed there, and she's like, this is weird. So then she left, and he started following her, and she's like, all right, I guess I got a pet now. So yeah, her canon minion is the Major General. I love sharks too. That's the other thing about me. Just get a cockerel, that's what I did. Overfitting to set my fanfiction brain going. Hell yeah. Currently over 100 pages on a Google Doc. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, dude. To write het as I am het, and I do branch out a little bit more, but I'm too nervous if I write something wrong. That's completely fair. I will admit, I don't write a lot of MLM stuff, even though I've got some ideas in my head, just because, like, I'm less experienced in that category. I'm a woman, right? Like, so it's a little bit harder, but I do have a Thancred Arion J fic that, oh man, is running around in my brain like a marble, just bouncing around. That I really want to do. What is the eyeshadow palette you use? It's the Trouble in Tokyo palette. The yellow's super pretty. Yes, I love the yellow. It's really good. It's the Trouble in Tokyo palette by... It's not ColourPop. What is it? I can't remember. Yeah. Shunk. Shunk. Is it okay to break lore when there's a lack of lore? Yes. That's right. Yep. Go for it. Make up your... I wouldn't even say that's breaking lore. Make up your own lore. Do it. Why not? AUs, headcanons, all those things exist for a reason. Work with them, go for it. Breaking lore, I think, is okay when the lore is either non-existent or stupid. Look, all I'm saying is British should be alive. Just saying. So we write fics that are spicier variety and not make it be too much cringe. That's my main way we're starting those. Come here. Come here. There's nothing cringe about love. Okay, that was dramatic. But point being is, if you want to write spicier fics, and I've written a lot, I have a couple. A lot of those spicy fics exist on the old AO3 profile. There's some that I have written. There's one that I've written very extremely recently, and I'm debating on whether posting it or not. But that sort of stuff is very good. Enjoy yourself. If you're writing smut, it's okay. Have fun with it. The only way you're gonna get better about it is to do it, right? Enjoy yourself. Have a good time. And if I can do it, you know what? You can too, because, man, like, you know it's bad when, like, personal story. You know it's bad when, like, you're writing, like, a romance fic, and you're all like, when they, like, hold hands. I'm lonely. But still, like, if they're just, like, holding hands, you're like, ooh, ooh, woo, right? Or, like, having genuine, pure intimacy and love appear in a fic. That's my thing. That's my bit, right? Oh my god, like, genuine intimacy in a piece. Oh my god, I'll lose my mind. But if you want to write something that's less intimate, that's fine. Like, if you want to write something that's less, I guess, wholesome, that's fine too. Enjoy yourself, have fun with it, express yourself. Nothing wrong with that. Just make sure you revise it. Make sure you tag it. Again, that's a big one with the writing advice I was giving. Tag things appropriately. You don't want somebody to be like, oh wow, what's this extremely wholesome, I don't know, Hythlodius fic I'm reading? Oh no! Right? Like, you don't want to get into a position where people are thinking your fic's gonna be one thing, and then it's not. Tag things appropriately. Completely okay, though. Enjoy yourself, have fun with it. If you're having fun with it, you revise it appropriately, and then you post it. What's the worst that's gonna happen? People are gonna look at it and go, oh hey, this is pretty neat, and then give you kudos. Honest to God, I really don't encounter a lot of people, especially on fanfiction websites, that are like, ugh, cringy. I really don't. You'll see that maybe on Twitter, but Twitter's a toxic wasteland, so like, just block people. Block people that kind of harsh your vibe, you know what I mean? Just move on. Not worth it. As long as it doesn't hurt anybody, go for it. Yes. I mean, there's obviously limitations with fan fiction, right? If you write fan fiction about real people, look, I don't want to harsh your vibe, but like, hey, maybe don't do that. As a streamer, I know about parasocial relationships, so yeah, don't, right? There's certain things like that maybe you should not dip your toes in. But other than that, like, enjoy yourself. Canon characters, OCs, just general characters that you make up, go for it, right? Enjoy yourself. That's a ship. I gotta fix the real people are the worst. Yes. So again, I don't like telling people no sometimes, but hey, there are no's out there. They exist. You can find them. Yikes. Anyway, point is, have a good time. I became a building question. How's FF14 frames the warrior is a very powerful individual? How do you avoid them making a Mary Sue-ish character? Honestly, I lean into it a little bit. The Warrior of Light is basically a god, and making them a Mary Sue-like character, well, give them flaws, first of all. If you're trying to avoid a Mary Sue character, give them flaws. But I do lean into the fact that Eris is powerful. I've written some pics of her where she's gotten shot by Garlean soldiers, and nothing happened. Like, she just gets hit by bullets and just, like, is still standing there. Like, what? You thought that was gonna work? Because it makes sense. Think about all the times in-game we get shot with attacks or hit with things that absolutely should kill us, right? I've written things like that for her before, and she's just such an absolute unit, even as, like, a DPS, that it just doesn't matter. Right? You can literally have a cartoonish, somebody swings, like, a sword, and it makes, like, the outline on their head kind of thing, right? But if you're trying to avoid a Mary Sue-esque character, give them flaws. That's the best way to do it. Like, that's the absolute best way to do it, is like, you just make sure that they're flawed in a multitude of ways. My Warrior of Light, Eris, has a lot of problems. She's a bit of a martyr. But she's also, like, not very heroic. She's the type of person that, like, she in personality doesn't save people because it's the right thing to do. She saves people because, like, her friends care about those people, right? Or they're her friends. It's personal connections that motivate her to do heroic things. She's not a heroic person. She's not a paragon. Very opposite of that. She's incredibly violent, too. She's a black mage with a lot of power. You know what fire, ice, and lightning can do to a body, right? Like, and she makes great use of that a lot. Did that, and especially during, like, the events of, like, Stormblood and Shadowbringers when she was going, like, kind of spiraling a little bit. There was a lot of that happening. Right. Less so in Endwalker. She kind of starts to come up a little bit through the course of that. But, yeah. Yeah, making them believable, grounded, having flaws, extremely important. Some of your fic Mary Sues are fine if you're having fun. Yep, absolutely. It's a very taboo thing, but a lot of protagonists in games and anime are very Mary Sue-like, and people love them, for sure. Literally watch any shonen anime ever. They're all Mary Sues. The men. That's all that's in shonen. But still, right? Like, there's a lot of Mary Sue-like characters. Thank you, I'm glad you like my makeup. Even in game when Warrior Light is at their peak, the story weakens your character by specifically pointing out that they can't be everywhere all at once, even if they are powerful, for sure. And the game kind of does set you up to have flaws and have areas where, like, you're weaker in. But it's fine. Like, having an extremely powerful character works in stories where it's kind of the centerpiece in, and that's exactly what FF14 is. Oh, hey, I ran out of the music. Whoops. But yeah. Also, as we're starting to get towards the end of the time, I've got about 4 minutes left. I'm gonna be streaming after this. By the way, for those of you that are interested, if you have more questions for me, I will be streaming after this. I'm gonna be at LunarCon. You can say hello to me if you want. I have Eris in a Tifa cosplay right now. So if you see a very buff Tifa somewhere, you'll be able to find me. But if you've got more questions, I am gonna go live. So I'm gonna go live after this on my own channel, not on this one. I would love to see you there. You can talk to me about stuff there. Literally, like I said, you can tag me on Twitter with your AO3 fix. You can check out mine. Follow me on Twitter, join in stream, stuff like that. Have a good time. Do not mind at all. Honestly, it would be splendid. I love fanfic. I love reading people's fanfiction. We do have 3 minutes left if anyone has any last minute questions. Yeah, thank you guys for being here. I do really appreciate it, actually. And I do have one more slide. But I do really appreciate it a lot. You guys are swell. I was nervous for this panel. I was afraid no one would want to hear me ramble about fan fiction for a while. And I'm very glad there's a lot of people that showed up. And that we filled the questions so easily. Fan fiction is a big thing in the FF14 community. I think it gets extremely little attention, though. And I kind of wanted to bring a little bit of attention to it because I know I'm very passionate about writing. Extremely passionate about writing. I'm extremely passionate about FF14. And the fanfic community in FF14 is vibrant and diverse and wonderful. And just nobody talks about it. You know, the art community is great, too. Lots of great fan art. And even the art community gets slighted a little bit, I feel like. I think it's a bit more intention, but even then, I feel like there's just not... A lot of, like, the arts within the community don't get the attention that I think they maybe should. So, I'm trying to do my part to provide a safe place where people can talk about what they love, enjoy what they love, and have a good time. And that's kind of my whole goal. That's been my goal with content creation, is provide a safe, comfortable, and kind atmosphere for everybody. That's kind of the whole deal, right? Just have a good time. Yeah. Love to boost me and start talking about my fanfic ideas instead of leave with my head. I appreciate it. Yeah, of course. I'm here to motivate you. If you need a hype woman, hit me up. I'm very serious about that. I would love to hype you up. Please. I got your back. Bunch of AO3 offers I've come to love. Oh my god, there's so many good ones. There's so many good ones. Why do I keep falling for villains, ho? Listen. I like bad guys. Link your Twitch. My Twitch is... I will not link it, but it is right here. Zoomizoomi97 on Twitch. Zoomizoomi on YouTube. Zoomizoomi97 on Twitter. And Zoomi_Zoomi on AO3. Those are my links. You can follow me on all of them. Subscribe, comment, like, dab, do a cartwheel, all those things. Yeah. If villain evil, then why sexy? And with that, I will leave you on that note. It is 2 o'clock. It is time for me to go. Thank you so much. Enjoy LunarCon. I hope to see you at LunarCon. Bye, everybody. Illy, have a good time.